Hello. Welcome to Generic Fantasy Adventure Season 2. Go around the table and get rarely a quick intro update on if anything significant happened to any of us last month. Yeah. Neil Buzzard, let's start with you.
Nothing new on my end. I got a 3D printer for Christmas, so I got to figure out how to use that. And once I figure out how to do that, uh, I plan to print more terrain and maybe I can print up minis for the cast.
Was it actually a Freudian slip or a spoonerism? Like, are you in 3D prison now?
It's a 3D prison.
Aren't we all in 3D prison?
True. Big brain.
No, it's just a normal 3D printer.
All right, James. Well, you've now volunteered yourself for Bot 2.
Oh, okay, I've been voluntold. Everything I do pretty much I put onto Arthur's Discord right now. So I wear my hobby life on my sleeve. But I've been on 3 weeks of vacation, which ends today. I'm now at work, as you can see right now, doing hard work. I'm actually wearing a work shirt, and we'll go into the office for half an hour after this show's over. But that's other than that, just planning for this whole Blood Bowl experiment. And finishing Marvel Midnight Suns. That was all of my December and start of January was finishing Marvel Midnight Suns.
Lauren, how's it going?
Things are pretty good, I think. A holiday of eating and sitting around with family. Pretty good. YouTube surpassed 1,000 viewers for my channel.
Nice.
Doesn't mean anything, but hey, it looks nice.
It's an achievement.
Yeah, and I'm eager. We haven't played in like 55 days, so yeah, I'm eager to be back at it.
16
55 days, but who's counting?
Yeah.
They don't need like a tin play button or an aluminium play button for 1,000 subscribers.
It's not even an email. The app just has like hey, you made it to 1,000. Great. And that's it. Nothing. Because you don't have the view hours they want to monetize. So, whatever. Don't care.
When you reach 1,000 subscribers on Australian YouTube, James, they send you a bauxite to play with.
Well, Arthur can tell you, Lauren, I've cracked the YouTube code as to how to get better CRM.
Financial words. We just have to say buzzwords. You can really tell because the views on yesterday's video are really popping off, James. Just real high returns on that. Bearded, how's it going?
Going good. Just spent the holidays with family and friends, and then took New Year's off to rest and recuperate, and just doing works and commissions and stuff. So life's good.
Yeah, caught you playing Valheim.
Yeah, I'll be doing that on Saturdays. gotta release my Viking every now and then.
Well, friends, I've been told that if we want Ratosaurus to watch the show, we have to do a real intro. So it's not like I'm just doing it for Ratosaurus, but here we go. As you push aside a branch, the light of the morning sun crests the mountaintop ahead of you. The flare of light offers a view of amazement. After weeks of travel, you have arrived at Bray Loch, a mountain valley rich in nature snaked by an ancient dried riverbed. The center, a raised mound upon which the foundations of what could generously be called a fortress, the long-abandoned castle of the previous Drake Warden, Loch Blazewing. As a cloud passes over the sun and casts a shadow onto your party, you are reminded of a very similar situation the day you met. A dusk attack by the cohort of a druid, the blessings of the god of nature bestowed upon 3 villages. Traveling east and north, you dispatched the bandit king of the wastes and entered into an uncomfortable arrangement as a devil's bounty hunter. Finding an ore load of rare metals, you pass this along after an uncomfortable welcome at Otekgug, Mechanicsburg in the common tongue. Traveling to the top of its wondrous screw elevator, signed on to a dragon-killing crew with the Imperial Sky Knight's 5th Detachment. Working for your place aboard, you impress the crew before dispatching a prisoner. Chasing the setting sun, you settled in at the Disorder, monk refuge and scholarly campus for those who did not hold to the traditional views of. Choosing to part ways with Captain Lin Thule and the crew of the lumbering behemoth over disagreements to public safety, you rode the letter of your contract downhill in a storm and into a fairy-cursed forest. Separated by nightmares, reunited by dragon light and faith in each other, bargains made and kept, with a particularly pernicious wolf monster promising to see you again. Backed by drakes and their wyvern escort, one among your number learned part of the secret of their newfound abilities by staving off death. Questionable allies were found among a 5th Detachment Knight named Sir Rian McPhee and his troops, gathered at their hidden base inside the Rock of Jith. Continuing to make fell contracts at a devil's court, luring the wyvern underground and sacrificing formal battle tactics for individual maneuvering, burying the dead and hunting the dragon. But few of you remained, set up to butchering the green dragon waiting in her lair, loosing your magic and steel in a flurry that quickly wrought the soul of the dragon from its corpsely shell. Barely avoiding the curse of dragon's greed for taking what was not earned, you learned the lair was jointly shared by another dragon, perhaps one with black scales. From there you set home, collecting your bounties, divesting your earnings into magical trinkets or offerings for orphans, before finally returning to get the 20 gold pieces you were promised. Crossroad of 3 villages. From there, you agreed on a new goal: seek out the legends of ancient dragons and heroes of to aid the one called Sparky the Unkillable Dragon in its relentless search to stop millennia-long plots to disrupt the world of magic. In your packs you have, bought with the last of your money, 1 deed of ownership for Bray Lock, sold by Baron Pietroja. Air warms around you. The Bray seems somewhat less impressive than the paper would have conveyed to you. A crumbling but stately outer wall, hundreds of years since a cleaning. A moat to surround the Maud and Bailey, fed by the dry riverbed. Deep entrance following a truly impressive road, wide, paved, metalled, cambered for drainage, a footpath on the inside edge, coiling twice around the mound. Rising out of the center of the keep is the Winghold, a complicated tower with multiple balconies, landings, and protrusions that, despite its squat 3-story nature, seems decidedly arcane tower in nature. Rumor and whispers, rhyming couplets and poems, painstakingly the evidence has pointed to this as a source of information on dragons, the past and future of magic, and if your fate should allow it, a permanent home to your band of bounty hunters. Welcome to Season 2 of Good players, please tell us how your character has changed as met. Several of you have new equipment, abilities, or are recently quite poor because you spent all of your money on magical gifts.
Which one of us are you referring to?
It doesn't matter. And we're going to go in reverse order, so we're going to start with Bearded.
Okay, I have a new cloak that changes to my preference. What else? That's it. Same old Tenera.
Are you still haunted by the literal devils and figurative devils of everything you've ever done in the past and your rampant alcoholism?
Yeah, that's a thing too. If you want to like put a spotlight on it, yeah.
I just listen. You have a whole mid-season break if you wanted to, solve that issue. But no, we're gonna. The darkness
that doesn't go away that easy.
Still there behind your eyes, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Listen, I'll never forget between a season of Battlestar Galactica, Admiral Adama going, "Damn you, Boomer! I hate you! I'll kill you!" And then the start of the next season, literally minutes later, he's like, "Well, Boomer, let's play some chess. I guess we're best friends now." And I'm just like, what the hell happened? Lauren, what's new about Gwyneria?
She's taken up the longbow. She's decided that, spells are good. They're great. But running up with a sword is probably not a good idea. And if you need something to fall back on, a longbow. It makes an interesting one-stringed instrument as well as, you know, a launcher of doom.
Should someone who professionally teaches sword fighting say that running up to someone with a sword is a bad idea? Can you do that in your profession?
Guineria can.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Guineria is going to be...
Does the College of Lore allow that?
She's the blessed of the Canaan Star. She can, you know,
that's true. Blessed of, blessed of
get away
Star.
with stuff. So
trumps everything.
She's gonna create message arrows. Sure.
Amazing. I don't know what these are yet, but I can't wait to find out.
I don't either. I just have an arrow in hand.
It's in lieu of the post office.
Yeah.
You know, it's very rare to see players create their own magical items and spells, but it rarely happens. Grimdark James, the one who plays Kithtrix. What's new about you?
Look, I think as far as Kithtrix's looks go, all that's really changed is that her armor now has studs in it. It's gone from regular leather to stud leather, and the holy symbol she started wearing of the nature deity, she has a new one which is made of rosewood. And does give off magical aura if that matters. But I think that I want to flash back to an early scene where, as you said, Kithtrix had a bunch of gifts to hand out to her traveling companions. So for Tanira, not knowing whether Tanira likes bars because she just likes bars, because some people do like that, or whether it's about being clean, I got Tanira a cleansing stone, which is a rock that you hold and you say a command word, and instantly you and everything you're wearing and carrying is clean. So if it's just a case of being cleaned, this rock will take care of everything. And it has no limited charges per day. So provided you're willing to share it around, other people can be clean as well.
So I just want to be clear here. Dungeons and Dragons managed to take the fun out of a warm shower. It managed to just
I was gonna say it's not as great as a bath, but in a pinch, I'll take a clean stone any day.
All right, keep destroying my dreams, James. Go ahead.
Don't worry, I'm still gonna take baths.
In the book it's from, they actually mount one in the middle of a town, and everyone in town walks to it in the morning and just touches it and says the command word. So. All right. For Guineria, I got her a version of her same instrument, which is remind me again, as the name of it was a sham, that's right. Which when you play it, creates harmful illusions within 5 feet or 15 feet if you're a bard, which can include things like flying magical notes, a spectral dancer, snowflakes. Just something that like to what's it from Futurama? They have that the thing that Fry plays that makes illusions appear.
The holophone.
The holophone. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then finally for Godric, I have Heward's handy spice pouch. Which is a 10 time. It's got 10 charges and it recharges overnight. You can reach into it and pull out 1 pinch of any non-magical food seasoning.
That is amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
So thoughtful. Thank you.
That's me done.
Now, speaking of people who spend lots of money, let's go ahead and talk to Mr. Moneybags here.
So the end of last season, I dropped, what was it, like 200 or 300 gold on Tanira's cloaks. And then in between seasons, I dropped another 200 gold on a magic axe. So Godric is currently carrying his new magic axe, which is a replica of Hue. I forget what supplement that comes from. It's essentially a +1 magic axe, and if it hits anything made of wood, it automatically deals max damage.
I think it's Lost Mine of Fandover.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
and I'm assuming it's not cursed.
It's not cursed.
Not cursed.
Yes.
Aside from that, I think Godric has just he's probably been lax on it in the past, but I think now he's taking time to really make sure his armor is like clean and spotless and like shiny.
Got a pretty rock.
Still has his miner's cap, but also has a cloak that Tanira gave him. That, if I remember, was made out of the membrane of the dragon's wing.
Yep.
So He's wearing that very proudly.
Whatever color you want.
So just because I went over it, but you know the thing about intro block text is some people phase them out. You are in front of the fortress of Bray Lock. It was previously owned by a past Drake Ward, last known one, Lock Blazewing, and it is hundreds of years out of maintenance. As James would say, it's a moat and Mott and Bailey. The old MMB, really.
I think what you're saying is it's a renovator's delight.
But
Yeah, it's a fixer-upper.
here's the thing, James. I'm not trying to sell you this place because I already
That's right. We already
have.
bought it. We already bought it.
Sight
Which is
unseen,
why I'm
apparently.
going to tell you, as your contractor and auditor and also insurance agent, it's a shithole and it desperately needs to be reclaimed and then refurbished.
So it's how many levels above ground?
So it has a low wall that, if restored, could be 8 to 12 feet high, but the central keep is 3 stories. Although the first story seems to be almost 20 feet tall.
And are we aware if whether it has any subterranean area to
You
it?
are not. The Baron that you bought it from, Baron Petrosia, was horrendously drunk when he sold you this deed and told you that it was a solid, impressive fortress which was used to ward the Southlands from the encroachment of the Goblinoids. So you are south of the Empire now, which is really the southern tip of the so-called civilized lands. South of you are Goblinoids, Dragonborn, Merfolk, and other various and sundry people.
Ooh.
I will say this to you, my elven friend. You have lived your whole life under the elves' hidden valley system of literally hidden valleys between mountains, which magically keep people they don't want out. This place has the same feeling as... If the right spells were cast, this could become a hidden valley. It has that feeling, and it has to have been made that way.
By the ranch company.
Well, this would make an
we're getting in trouble
excellent,
for that one, for sure.
an excellent operating base. Yes, fortress.
It's a shithole.
We will fix it up. It will be wondrous.
Thankfully, you have a carpenter.
Mm.
But it's mainly stone.
But you can use it to build, stepping stools to put the stone
Scaffolding.
on.
Yeah.
He can,
That word.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, Tanira can build the ranch to our hidden valley.
Boom. Nailed it.
Oh.
Listen, we were all trying to figure out how to make that joke work.
Listen, over the break-
I'm trying to keep...
Over the break, me and Godric became real good friends.
I'm just glad to hear that Tanira has a friend.
Oh,
Yay. Tyr has lots of
It
friends.
all started
Lots
when
of-
he gave me all that money for my cloak.
yeah.
Listen, here's the thing about my view of Tanira. Tanira constantly gives massive amounts of money away at orphanages, and the people at the orphanages go, "You're doing this. You're like a homeless itinerant wanderer. No one like that gives money away unless they're trying to cleanse their soul. Want to talk about it?" And she's like, "No, bitch, no.
I'm
I got
good.
problems I don't want to solve." And I'm like, "Yep, this is Tanira to me."
This is how I solve it. Let me live my life.
Hey, Sparky.
Sparky is now about 2 feet longer and is actually thinner than before, and has taken on almost like a Eastern Asian bit. And it just kind of prompts up, and their body accordions comically as they're moving. Yes?
What do you think? It's our new home, eventually.
There is much draconic magic viewed in these lands. Without the driving force of the magic here, this place looks like a shithole.
I agree with the dragon.
But we can
We're
make
going
it
to
work,
need
right?
more dragons.
More
As
dragons.
in on our side, yeah.
I like the sound of that.
I mean, on my side, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. High claw.
Sparky can now become taller than you and low claws you. It should be noted that they have some difficulty because they haven't really worked on abdomen strength yet, so they're like a wacky inflatable dragon man.
Yeah. That's what you get when every day's leg day.
That happens when you have a puppy with twice as long legs than it should have.
All right.
Again, its legs are not long. It's the torso, the noodle abdomen.
Like a wiener dog.
Yeah. What do you all want to do?
I would like to ritually cast, if everyone can wait for 10 minutes, and then concentrate on detect magic as we go into explore it first, because I'm just concerned about if there's still the magical traps or the like.
So just be clear, you are some distance away, although if you want to move closer, it is certainly a thing you can do.
Okay.
You have not yet even begun to climb the, I'm just going to say it's a Roman road that circles the hill to get to the fortress. It's very clear that at some point in the distant past, wagon or cart access was very important to whoever ran this fortress to put in such an amazing path, which at the bottom of the hill peters out into nothing.
Because so we don't know whether that place is dangerous. Like, first of all, we don't know whether there's anything living in there. Secondly, if the roof is no longer intact, then that means that rain has gotten into the entire building and everything is potentially unstable. So I think that if we're going to spend a bit of time on this, we need to at least set a camp somewhere out here. Maybe even spend some time to build some sort of temporary location that we can go back to, rather than taking our chance of sleeping inside a decrepit castle fortress.
I agree.
Seems wise plan.
Yeah,
But it's going to look beautiful when we're done with it.
yeah.
I want to use I don't know if this would be my stone cutting or my mason's tools, but I just want to check, like James was saying, the foundation could be compromised because of all the rain and stuff getting in.
So let's start with, I'm assuming you're making the camp away from the mound that the castle is on?
Probably at the base, I'm guessing, because
Okay.
I'm guessing that the mound's not made to have a permanent installation other than the fortress on top.
It is rounded enough that it is difficult to walk up it, but it would be difficult to do it if you weren't going the road, and therefore any building would be quite angular.
And also probably closer to the road as opposed to not closer
You could
to
make
the road.
it at the bottom of the road if you want. Because again, the road hits the base of the hill and just there's nothing. It's just grassland.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that
the
works.
other question for Godric, if you've got history and stone cutting, might be whether or not this type of architecture would be likely to have a sally port somewhere, or a secret exit that we should look for. Yeah,
that's what I was saying. I want to try to check for is.
I think we should do that when
or-
you're closer to the camp.
Okay.
I want to
Gotcha.
talk about setting up camp here first. You've indicated it's important enough to you that you want to have something to fall back to.
Yeah. And I think we spend more time setting this up as normally when you set camp for a night, you plan to be leaving in the next day. We want to set up, we probably want to dig a fire pit,
A more
Cover- yeah,
permanent
surra- surra-
installation. Yes.
surround it with rocks, etc. Yeah.
How important is hiding your presence in the camp? Like smokeless fire, perhaps? Just very difficult to achieve. The whole area outside is either forested or wild grasslands, so there's plenty. If you want to set up a fire pit, you're going to have to do some shoveling and clearing to keep local meadow grass from over. Get some potential embers issues.
Or the other thing might be, if we're staying here a while, whether we can then get material to set up like tarps so that it keeps the rain off, but it also gives us some cover from the sky.
I'm going to ask you a question, James.
Yeah.
You have rope and tarps on your character sheet.
I have rope, but I mean, I'm thinking about like natural materials. So like finding big leaves to lay on top of a. Yeah, look, I've watched Survivor. You've watched Survivor. They don't go there with.
I'm going to tell you this. I actually have not watched a full episode of Survivor.
Okay.
But I've seen shows like it. So I'm going to allow everyone that wants to participate to make a survival check.
So I would
So it was
say,
that Godric managed to dodge an Arcana check as his first.
First roll.
I was gonna say if we're gonna set up a
Oh, Tanira.
more permanent base here,
I'm gonna eat a bean boozle for that one.
Oh boy, these are some great starting rolls.
I'm casting guidance on myself before I try and do this.
What do you say to yourself as part of the
Either
guidance?
toothpaste or berry.
I mean, probably for me, this is more about praying because I mean we're in a natural area, and I've worshipped natural deities, so it's more like asking for Gaia or whatever nature's help to find the materials ethically, so things that have already fallen from trees, etc., that we need. Yeah.
Listen, I know engineers who try to do things ethically. There's this guy, his name's Saruman. All right. When he was setting up a construction on his property, everyone was like, all we've got to eat is this maggoty bread. And he's like, local proteins straight from the ground. Okay. And everyone was like, oh, what we really want is meat. And he's like, nope, maggoty bread. Listen, 6, 7, 16, and 13. These are not the best rolls I've ever seen. Tanira, you are not only not helpful, you're actually unhelpful in this. I don't know if it's because you're just drunk or maybe you're out of practice in setting up a camp for more than just yourself.
Yeah, I've definitely been not roughing it recently, so I might not be on my A game at the moment. And
maybe we're trying to build like a temporary lean-to, and she's trying to like get us towards a full-on wooden cottage.
I'm just leaning on a tree.
It's like,
Yeah. I'm trying to make us a full cottage right now. Listen, we're gonna really need an inn when we get this place started, okay?
I feel like that maybe your contribution is making a Valheim style workbench while everybody else is like, let's get the basics done. You're just like, hold on, I need something to hold my saws.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, listen, guys, we need a foundational thing here. Like, we're really gonna need this once we start getting going,
I want 2 inches of airspace underneath us so that the cabin doesn't sweat and everybody else is like, cabin.
How else are you gonna build if you don't put the
some drop
workbench down
floors
first?
in here? Maybe some paneling?
There's gonna be some crown molding.
Guineria, I don't know what happened to you here.
I wandered off.
Yeah. I wonder if perhaps you are stuck thinking about songs and tavern plays that you've done recently that have been well received.
Oh, yes.
On your travels, you were pretty much the prime motivator behind finding this place. As a bard, you have access to information in ways others don't. Your use of the College of Lore assets has worked for you. You managed to learn a lot about Loch Blazewing and Bray Loch. And probably, given everybody's roles so far, you're almost certainly the one who convinced Baron Petrosia to part with his deed for this particular facility. Although whether that was a boon or a curse for you, I guess we'll have to see. That said, Godric and Kethrix, you get something it'll get you through tonight based on the group rolls. You definitely have a fire pit and you can get through tonight. You probably won't die of exposure.
My thing is I feel Godric should be able to handle a smokeless fire pretty easily working in the mines. Like fire with smoke would be a bad idea down there. So I feel like getting a cooking fire is his priority.
Okay. You have a 16. I'll allow for this. Folks at home know that no smokeless fire is very difficult and involves a lot of oxygen enrichment. But low smoke fires, definitely more of a possibility. I think shielding the light is way more in your wheelhouse for this. Like, so that if someone from the top of the fortress looks down on you, they probably wouldn't be like, oh, look, flickering firelight. Definitely somebody down there. It will take a skilled individual to notice the smoke of your fires.
Okay.
Okay. That will take you several hours to set up, and by now the sun has crawled its way to directly overhead in the sky. The heat here in the Southlands is like nothing you have experienced elsewhere. It's hot, and worse than hot, it's also humid here. It's bad. We're talking like 65, 70% humidity here, approaching the upper 90s in Fahrenheit scale.
I can confirm that Kithtrix has a sort of hair where when it's really humid, it just goes poof. Like, it looks like a Pomeranian.
Gonna be sweaty all the time.
Your dragon friend has spent a lot of time in something close to prayer, looking directly at that tower. Even though the hill is curved enough to shield it from your view, it's almost as if Sparky is looking through the hill and seeing it with spectral eyes.
You okay, buddy?
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah. There's a lot of energy here, a lot of magic. This place was made by dragons for dragons, I can tell.
All right, well, we're nearly done here. We can go up there soon and have a look.
Okay. This whole conversation, they have not looked at you. They're locked, laser focused.
Sooner I can get this workbench done, the sooner we can go check it out.
Are you shadowboarding your tools?
Everything. It's the whole nine. You got to have your proper setup, or it's not going to be as efficient. Trust me.
How do you get to the top of this? Do you want to take the road up to arrive at the entrance, or do you want to cut over the top of the hill up the harder path?
I'd like to take the road path if everybody's down for it, just to kind of check it out.
Yeah, road.
Yeah, just to see how bad it is and if we have to do any maintenance to it.
As you make your way up, Godric, I'd like you to make that history check as part of stone cutting. We're going to start with history to see how much of this place is dwarven and whether there may be any sally ports at. Or you'd love to not be surprised from behind while on this road. Doing a really good job of avoiding those arcana checks so far.
Yeah, so far. We'll see. 14.
14. The road, interestingly enough, is dwarven stonecraft. What I think is more interesting to you is that you've heard of this stonecraft. It has not been practiced in about 3,000 years. It would be as if someone was like, I've recreated the Parthenon. You know what I mean? Like, you're looking at this and you're like, oh, this is wonderful and old and classical, and no one does it this way anymore.
And this is the road that we're on?
This is the road. The road was definitely made maybe by dwarves, maybe not by dwarves, but in dwarven style, almost certainly.
Does the road predate the fortress?
You're not sure because you haven't stone cunninged it yet.
No, I'm asking as a player also. Then, yeah, from his for the benefit of his skill.
I would like you to make that stone cunning as you arrive at the bridge at the end of the.
At the edge of the road.
Am I making another?
Yeah, you have to make another one. So you get proficiency in history or double proficiency for this one.
Okay. I already have proficiency, so
so you get double.
Okay. So it's a +3 situational bonus.
Yep. So you get even more.
Okay. If it was stone cutting on the last one, then it should have been higher than a 14 as well.
I'm doing these as two separate checks.
Okay.
I didn't realize stone cutting was history anyway.
Yes. Okay, so I get an additional +3 to this?
Yes.
Yep.
And wait,
Indeed.
before you roll,
Oh,
I was going to say you all have inspiration from last season, but I don't think it
that'll
would help you here.
help.
Or on the
I
other
was going to say,
hand,
can
you
I
literally...
use that inspiration?
Yeah, go ahead,
It
please.
would. It can't make it any worse.
Yeah, that's true. Please feel free to go ahead. For the folks at home, that was a natural one.
Oh my god.
It can't make it any worse because it's also a one.
One.
It didn't make it
those
any
out of the
worse.
way. Get them out of the way.
So we are.
I think I'm
just
too busy
nailing it.
looking at the road behind us as we're walking up.
I'm gonna take your natural one as meaning you got the worst possible outcome you could get in this situation.
Oh no.
You are offended culturally and deeply by this dragon, implying that dragons made this place. This is clearly dwarven stonework. How dare this little snot-nosed dragon claim your people's heritage from you? I mean, it's from the, that one dynasty that did the... It's definitely dwarven, okay?
I think at this point, Godric is just mumbling to himself about this is obviously, like you're saying, like this is obviously dwarven craftsmanship, and then pointing out, look at all this dwarven craftsmanship here and there and everywhere instead of checking the foundation like he's supposed to.
I would like to check the foundation.
Ah, I see. Make
As
a
fellow
intelligence check.
craftsman. All right. There we go. It's not a 1.
There is a 3-section bridge on the approach to the outer walls. You think that probably the foundation of the main fortress seems okay? Something about the bridge that makes it could use some upkeep.
I relay that to the team. This bridge is a little suspect,
Is the bridge wood or stone?
That's a great question that I can solve by showing you.
It's stone.
Work? I think it.
Yep,
Yes,
it
I
was.
All
see
right. So I drew a compass on here because north is. I just didn't feel like turning the map.
Which way is Z?
North is to the left. It's not C. Jeez. You can see that.
Zed. It's not Z, it's Zed.
Okay. Well, let's find Stargate so we can get some ZPS. You can see the stone bridge over the ancient dried riverbed. There are columns accompanying this particular bridge, and then along the wall you can see that in many places it has simply collapsed or crumbled, and in other places it's somewhat more solid. The foundations of the wall are not the best.
This will definitely have to be on our list for sure. Especially if we're using it to get inside the castle.
Are these walls for the keep itself, or are they just out here by the bridge?
They are the walls that surround the entire keep.
Okay.
So the area inside the keep is pretty expansive. The tower and the grounds itself probably take up 500 or 600 foot radius. And there's probably like a quarter mile or more of space inside. So a lot of empty space where you could put other buildings inside, or stop and park wagons or other transit, or land dragons if you're some sort of dragon rider.
I want to walk up like the edge, like almost parkouring up the edge of the bridge and kind of hopping from the wooden stones back onto the bridge. And then,
But before you go, definitely we should all go across one at a time just in case. Should we go lightest person first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right.
How steep is the moat walls?
I mean, walls, I guess, is technically correct way to refer to them. they are 15 feet down at a pretty sharp but jaggedy, rocky angle.
Okay.
Almost seems like these were carved by the passage of water, which would kind of make sense, but they are weirdly naturalized for a moat. You know, a moat, you kind of are looking for remedy. Somewhat unusual. Now, before we send someone over, let me know where everybody is standing. Not that there's any traps or environmental hazards or dangers. I just want to know where everybody is before.
Do you want to drop do you want to drop Sparky on the board as well?
I forgot about Sparky. Hold on.
Oh, it won't let me go on the wooden pole.
Right, Sparky? I think.
Yep.
So those poles are not wood. They are made of a different kind of stone than the bridge.
Gotcha.
For you, Godric, the stone of the columns, the stone of the bridge, the stone of the walls, there are several different colors of stone. The stone here is not painted, or if it was, it no longer survives. You're looking at least 6 different types of stone used in the creation of this place. Honestly, with the differing material strengths, tensile capabilities, they shouldn't normally fit together that well either. This is somewhat odd for a dwarf.
I would assume, I think Godric's thinking either they had supply issues and just took whatever stone they could get, or they had some kind of master mason that knew what they were doing. Someone vastly past Godric's experience.
Oh, good assumptions.
Godric knows how to take the stone apart, not necessarily the greatest at putting it together.
De Niro, what's your plan here with this bridge?
So yeah, I was just gonna walk up the side of it, like on the actual wall, and then kind of bounce between the circular stone and the edge of the wall.
The columns?
Yeah.
Very well. I'd like you to make an acrobatics check.
Okie dokie. Acrobatics. There you are.
Oh boy, I don't know if you guys saw the same animation as I did, but that one almost stayed. It was real close.
Trying to break the cycle.
I don't know if you can break that cycle. That's a violent cycle. You make your way across. You jump here, and then over to here, and then down to here. Now, some of you at home may ask, Arthur, that's weird. As a character, you are allowed to jump a certain amount. You don't need to make an acrobatics check to do that, and you're correct. You didn't need an acrobatics check for that. You avoided something happening by making that acrobatics check is all up. Tanira has no idea what danger she got herself out of by taking that path and in that particular way.
If we have good
passive perception, Tanira?
How do I calculate that again? Oh, I have it right here.
It's on your
12.
sheet. 12. Okay. All right. Tanira makes it. She doesn't really go down the bridge. I mean, there's some wall walking and leaping. Seems safe enough.
So if we've got 10 minutes, this is a good time for me to cast Detect Magic and concentrate on it while we're exploring.
It does only have 60 foot of range, but yes.
Yep. So is everyone happy to wait 10 minutes? Are you happy to wait 10 minutes?
I mean, I'm all the way over here, so I'll go check out the tower. I don't want to wait around. We just got here. I want to look at this thing.
All right, well, I'll start preparing my ritual.
Excellent. Excellent. Tanira, you're heading forward to check out the keep?
Yeah, I'll just take the long way. I'll take the scenic route.
Or Godric?
I want to come around to like the side over here and like inspect the bridge from the side, because the bridge seems off.
Okay.
Like the different materials and everything fitting together just looks.
Make a perception check.
Something in the dwarf in me is telling me there's something weird.
Veneria.
Yes, I'm going to move up, but I'm watching forward. I want to scan along the walls, looking for movement, looking to see if anything is, watching us, trying to peek out at us, that sort of idea.
Perception check.
Perception check.
Godric, 10 to check the bridge.
Mhm.
You certainly are no engineer, but you would not certify this bridge for a cart. You know, it probably only has a few 100 pounds of weight limit at that. The middle section in particular is looking, the archstone, the keystone at the top on both sides is looking pretty bad. I think that if enough weight is put on this bridge, it will seriously, it's recoverable, it's salvageable for sure, but if you break it, it's done for.
I'm going to relay that to everyone. Hey, the keystones on this bridge are worse for wear. I would not cross this except maybe one at a time. This is bad.
I'm going to just make some rolls real quick. Talk amongst yourselves.
Do you think there are safe places to stand or safer places to stand?
I would avoid the middle of the bridge at all costs until we can replace the keystones. This bridge is going to need some maintenance before I think anyone is safely able to cross it.
So stick to the sides.
Acrobatics notwithstanding.
I was gonna say. Ooh. Okay.
Here's
He
what I'm
almost
going to
got
do.
a one himself.
I'm going to also say that I suggest the moat be made wider. I'm going to summon my echo over here and then swap places with it.
We'll get to that in a second. Okay,
Nice.
That's a natural 20. Okay.
You're not doing anything with a natural 20.
Yeah, hold on. You have finished, Godric. You're looking across. You and Gornaria glance at each other, and when you look back, Tanira is gone.
Oh no.
So we will now roll initiative, and Tanira, I will then describe what's happening to you.
Damn. This is what I get.
Forget how we get the carousel to show up. There it is. Carouseling.
Rolled a 4 for initiative, ended up with a 3.
Wow.
I just get a 20.
Only 17 here. Only.
I just got a 23. Holy shit. Thank God. Whatever grabbed me is about to get some ass whooping.
I guess you better hope so.
Oh. Okay.
A couple.
Just, yeah, a few. This isn't where I left my cart.
Did the carousel disappear for me? There we go. I'm missing somebody on the initiative order.
Me.
It's Grim Dark Jane. I'll add you manual.
Yeah, just right click on my token, add me to the combat.
Basically the same role. I'll take it. Tanira.
Yeah.
Godric and Guineria are doing their own thing. Allow me to enact what happened to you. You made it across and did not notice either of the kobolds waiting on the far of these columns. You continued to walk forward, and then on a 23, this kobold ran forward, threw a net over you, and then gagged you and dragged you back over here. And on a 22 stealth, on a critical hit, you are now hidden from all of your allies, and these kobolds, who have finished their surprise round, are preparing to stab you to death. You've maybe heard of kobolds before. This is some weird shit. They have bucklers. They have prong spears. It looks like they have bottles of alcohol, nets, crossbows. This is unusual. And perhaps what's more unusual to you is that they're like a whole head taller than normal. So for the folks at home who maybe don't know a lot about kobolds, they're essentially the goblin version of dragon dogs. They're basically unintelligent dragon simps that follow them around everywhere and are like, what can we do for you? And the dragons are like, well, when you're not a snack, I don't know, go raid some villages and bring me loot. And they'll be like, anything you want, great dragon lord. These guys are the Uruk-hai version of kobolds. They're meaner, nastier, more intelligent, and they fucking have you, Tanira. You are in so much trouble right now. You are in a net, so you have the restrained condition, and you are also silenced.
I just want to point out, by the way, that my passive perception is higher than 22.
All right, James. Very well. You get to act in the surprise round, which means you act immediately after the kobolds. So you see Tanira get... While everybody else is talking about, like, oh, I'm looking at the tower or I'm checking the bridge, you definitely watch Tanira get abducted, gagged, and dragged behind the wall.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Look,
what do you want to do?
I honestly I spend my whole round like stopping the ritual and yelling to everybody else that they're like there's kobolds and they've grabbed Tanira. I'm not haven't got a weapon out. I'm not going to make an attack or cast a spell. I'm just going to yell alarm about it basically. Yeah.
How do I start the combat?
Down the bottom of the combat tab, there's a begin combat.
There we go. I always mess this part up.
I would suggest we're at our 1 hour mark. So start the combat after.
That's a good point.
Yes.
We're about 2 minutes away from that. So you know what? Thank you. We will skip with Tanira.
Cliffhanger.
The piece of wood that they've put into your mouth and then tied to you. This is some good wood in here. You know, it feels like maybe you could get a good smoke off of this thing. We'll
I like to multitask when I'm getting abducted.
I mean, there's not much else to think about other than, my God, I'm dying and I'm going to get stabbed.
Nah, I'm good.
We'll be back in about 5 minutes, guys. Stick around for the middle part.